everyone, and welcome to the second of our two lessons on parabolas for today. We're going to be going over specifically graphing parabolas. You saw this coming, I'm sure, from the previous lesson. You knew that we're going to start graphing these, your favorite thing in the world. So let's go ahead and get started with that. So as a reminder, these are the key features, right? But when we graph, even though we have all these features, we actually surprisingly only care about a few of them. First off, x-intercepts. We call those sometimes roots or even sometimes zeros. But these are incredibly important in parabolas. In fact, we care about them far more than y-intercepts. I know that we tend to focus on y-intercepts when we graph lines, but not parabolas. But they are not the most important part when you graph a parabola. When you're actually doing the graphing part, we care intensely about this vertex. Now, we actually have a special little formula to remember how to find the vertex from an equation if we didn't have a graph. And that is called x equals negative b over 2a. I cannot emphasize enough how important this little formula is. And in fact, if I were you right now, I would just write this down because we're going to be using this a lot for quite the foreseeable future when we're graphing. All right, so with all of this in mind, what we're going to do now is we're going to try and graph our own parabola given an equation. So it does take a little bit of time, so bear with us. First off, I understand, guys, that if you have graphing calculators, you just put this in there and you're done with it. That's not going to be enough for this, okay? Because when I ask you guys to graph this, I am going to need to see your work and how you get your points. I do want you guys to be able to find specific points for a parabola, but I will also show you how to find the points with a shortcut. So first off, remember the most important point in all of a parabola is a vertex. So we have x equals negative b over 2a. That's the most important thing. So with this formula, we should think to ourselves, what is our b and what is our a? If you guys remember standard form, this is y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. So a is in front of the x squared, that's our negative 1. And b is our 4, and we don't care about the c. That doesn't really affect the vertex. So here, once again, I'm going to go back there. B is our 4 because it's right in the middle next to the normal x. And we have a being a negative 1 because we have a negative in front of the x squared. It matters where they're next to, right? If this was in a different order, a would still be what's in front of x squared. All right, that wouldn't change anything. So it'd still be negative 1. Just keep that in mind. All right, let's simplify this. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. 4 divided by negative 2 is negative 2. And then negative of a negative 2 is a positive 2. So that's the x value. In fact, if I wanted to find the axis symmetry, it would just be x equals 2. But remember, every point has a y value. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our formula, and I'm going to replace all the x's with 2's, and then I'm going to simplify it. And at this point, once you're able to do this, guys, I don't mind if you put it in a calculator, but I want you to be able to understand that we're taking this special number and we're putting it right in there. So 2 squared and a negative on the outside, that's going to give us a negative 4. 4 times 2 is 8, and then we still have a minus 3. Then we do negative 4 plus 8 minus 3, and we'll get a 1 right there. Boom. Okay, so with all this information right here, let's go ahead and let's just put this into this table right here. Sorry, vertex is 2, 1. So let's put this in our table right here, because here's the thing. For you to properly graph a parabola, you don't want 1, you don't want 2, you don't want 3, you don't want 6, you want 5 points, at least 5 points to graph that correctly. And one of those points should be the vertex, and that should be the middle point right there. So you're probably thinking, okay, if that's the middle point, what should be the other points? You should always choose your x values based on the vertex's x. Think about what numbers are directly around 2. If I was going to go backwards, 1, 0. If I was going to go forwards, what's after 2? 3, 4. So once again, to show you guys where that's coming from, I start with the number 2 for my x values, and I'm going to go backwards. 2 minus 1 is 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. Then we go back, start at 2 again, and 2 plus 1 is 3. Plus 1 is 4. So all these numbers revolve around the number 2. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these points right here and slowly put them into the equation to get my y values. So let's start with 0. Notice I just put 0 into this, so 0 squared ends up being 0. 4 times 0 is 0 minus 3. That gives me negative 3. Let's put in the number 1. So now it's the same formula, just the x's become 1s. 1 squared is 1, but there's a negative on the outside, so it's a negative 1. 4 times 1 is 4, minus 3, and that gives us 0. And at this point, you're probably thinking, oh my god, this is so much work, Mr. Porter. Can I just put this in a calculator and get it done with? Can I just like skip all this work? Guys, you're going to see a shortcut right now. Because if you understand parabolas, you'd actually just be done right now. You know exactly what the next two y values are going to be. But just to show you, let's put the number 3 in. Then I'm going to simplify it. I get the number 0. Didn't we see this before? What do you guys think the next number is going to be? It's not 1. Think about this. If it revolves around this 1. Let's put the number 4 in. Let's simplify it. It's also negative 3. Do you guys see that little pattern right there? It's symmetrical. That should help you take a shortcut. You don't have to do half of this work if you understand that the next two numbers are going to be a reflection of the first numbers. Because remember, the vertex is right in the middle of that symmetry. So of course, anything you put on the other side is going to be the same. All right, let's do the actual not the hard part, the easy part at this point, because we already have our points, which I'm just going to put right here just so we can see that. That's where these are coming from: 0, negative 3, 1, 0, 2, 1, 3, 0, 4, negative 3. That's all right here. Now I'm just going to graph it, guys. So 0, negative. Oh, that's the vertex right here, 2, 1. Then I put the other points down right there. And then I draw a really terrible parabola by hand. But I'm forgetting something. What is that? Arrows. So that's how you graph this, guys. I'm only going to have you try to graph one or two of these for work, but it is important for you to be able to understand how to do this because it will make your life a lot easier for the rest of this class, okay? If you have any questions, feel free to email me or come to office hours. Otherwise, make sure you do your homework and you have a good day.